You get paid based on what you're worth. That's a key thing to understand in your career. It's a key thing to understand as an entrepreneur and building a business. It's one of the most important fundamental things to understand if you want to make more money. And a lot of people are scared. They're scared to ask for money. That differential, that's the room that you have to negotiate. I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. Click the subscribe button and become one. Click the like button because the YouTube algorithm likes it, and I like you liking that, so like that. Hello, I love watching your videos, and I've gotten a lot of your advice from it. I'm a community manager in charge of 80 units, and recently I was offered to take charge of a second property of 146 units. In total, I would be managing 226 units, and I would have an assistant to help me run it. It used to be 2 different properties with 2 managers, but they fired the other manager and offered me to manage both properties with the help of an assistant. I accepted the position and was very excited about it because they gave me the opportunity to do it. But when the president of the company offered me the position, didn't talk to me about a raise or money, and I didn't want to seem ambitious. I expressed my appreciation for considering me for the position, but didn't ask about compensation. It is more than double the work, and don't know when would be a good time to ask about compensation and how. Thank you very much. A couple of things that we need to understand here to understand how to properly evaluate this situation. Your pay is based on your value. It might seem like, oh, this is a good thing, I'm being given a raise or I'm given a promotion. There's no given in this. I hire people, okay? And I have people working for me. And I can tell you that when I have a good person working for me, I consider that as an asset to the company. I don't think of, oh, I'm helping this person by paying them money. I think I'm getting a fucking bargain by paying this person and I'm getting them to work. We try to make it as fair as possible, right? I'm paying people based on the value of what they're worth. But at the same time, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, I'm looking at it as a value. I'm looking at it as this is what they bring to the table, and this is what it's worth to me. It's worth paying this amount. What you have to understand, whether it be in your career or as a freelancer or as an entrepreneur selling a product, the value that you represent or that you bring to the table, that is going to determine your compensation. Not to say that everyone will pay you fairly for your value, but you need to have a good understanding of that because that's the key to negotiating in this kind of situation. You had 2 property managers that were running these properties. This one's a really big one. They fired the other manager, okay? So you fired this other guy, and then you had one of your guys that was doing really good. You figure he can do the job of the other guy. If you didn't have that situation, where would you be? They probably had some kind of issue and they had to get rid of this guy. So they're in a tight spot. They're in a squeeze. I don't know if you've ever fired someone, but I fired people. And when it's a critical job, which managing 146 units is a critical job, you're kind of in panic mode. You're like, what am I going to do? I need to replace this person. I need to have someone, otherwise I'm not going to generate that income. I'm going to be fucked. And they see you over here and they're like, hey, we can get, Joe to manage both of these, and that's awesome because Joe's awesome. We could trust him. Yes, this is awesome. When you're thanking him to give you the responsibility, he's laughing. I mean, he's not really laughing, but he's thinking, oh, no, thank you, Joe. You just saved my ass, man. Like, I don't know what I would do. It would take forever to try and find another property manager, and then we'd have to go through all these people, and we have to have someone managing the properties now. What do you do in this situation? You're scared to ask for a raise. Okay, well, all of it comes from this context. Okay, what's the value that you're providing? I want you to figure out, I want you to go in, and I want you to add up. You're managing 226 units now. I want you to go in, and I want you to add up the revenue that the company generates from those 226 units. And then I want you to basically calculate what would be the difference between them being managed well and them being managed poorly, okay? And I want you to come up with those actual numbers, and I want you to come up with those charts and project those charts out so that you know what is it that you're worth, what are you bringing to the table. That differential, that's the room that you have to negotiate, okay? There's a standard job, and there's the job that Joe does because he's fucking superior. And I want you to take out of that also the cost of having that other property manager, estimate how much they were paying him. And I want you to make a really good case for how much money that they are going to be saving or making, a combination of saving plus making, okay, add those 2 together, by having you manage those properties. That's the key. And when you do that, then you're going to go into your boss and you're going to say, hey, look, I appreciate the position. It has a lot more responsibility, and that's good. But I think it's time that we talked about compensation for this additional responsibility. do you have some time to talk about this, or when would be a good time? Set up a meeting, okay? Don't just come in there like 5 minutes. You want to set up a meeting, and he might say, I've got some time now. You might say, well, I need about a half an hour of your time. Can we schedule something for next Tuesday or whatever it is? You want to have that block of time so that he's not in a rush, okay, so that he knows ahead of time and is prepared for the situation, and you can be prepared as well. Then you're going to go in there and you're going to present your case. You're going to say, look, this is how many properties I was managing before. Okay, this is how much I'm managing now. This is probably what you're paying the other guy, right? You want to lay all these things out on the table, and you want to say, look, here's what I projected, that I can save you, that you're saving on this. This is the extra money that you're making by having me do this. Do you think it would be fair if I had a certain percentage of that? You're paying me this amount. Now, don't you think it'd be fair if these things are true and you're getting that cost savings if I had 10% of that amount and you paid me this amount instead? You want to work out this as a business deal, as a transaction, not you're asking for something, not you're begging for something. This is, you're negotiating some value here, okay? And that's the thing that you want to do. You want to negotiate the value with your boss here. If you go about it that way, it's going to be fine, all right? You have to get rid of the fear of this. A lot of you guys, you walk in to negotiate with your boss and you're not really negotiating. You're just asking. You're just begging, right? And a lot of the arguments I hear are, I got a new mortgage, or my mortgage went up, or I got a new car. No one cares about your fucking expenses. No one cares about how expensive your kid's college tuition is. That's your fucking problem. You have to talk about what value can you bring to the table. Okay, and what additional value that you're going to bring to the table if you're looking for a raise and you haven't already been given a responsibility like Joe has in this case. All right, so that's the key thing. That's what you present when you go in there.